Hello, Ducktales fans, and welcome back to Pixar Freak 5242. So today I am back with the Rating the Ducktales episodes, part 2. So last time where we left off, we didn't get to finish season 1. So that is where we are starting today. The last episode we rated was Who is Gizmo Duck under Adequate. Let's see what the next episode has in store. What is the next episode? I'm sorry the mic hasn't been working very well. But it's pretty echoey in this room as well. Where is it? Oh, I just passed it. The Other Bin of Scrooge McDuck. The Other Bin of Scrooge McDuck is a great episode. It has to be one of... Lena's just developed so well in this episode. I like how they introduce the beginning with, like, Lena trying to get the necklace off of Scrooge using the diamond dagger, and how Webby reacts to it. It's all pretty realistic. Like, Webby loves Lena too much to think she'd do anything wrong. And the fact that Lena's like has to pretend to be a Scrooge fan. And I like the idea of the second bin. That's really cool. And a lot of the stuff they saw in the second bin was pretty great. And I loved that. Was probably one of the best scenes of the whole series. Well, not the whole series, but when Lena enters the room of your worst nightmares, that was a great idea. Like, it really tricked me the first time I watched it. That was so cool. Like, how Lena reacted, it was so emotional. Like, Lena's worst nightmare was losing Webby, and that was great. And I like how calmly Webby was just like, okay, well, we can still get the dime if you want, Lena. And I like at the end how Lena is actually going to tell Scrooge everything that's been going on, even though it could sacrifice their whole relationship as friends, or more than friends. But yeah, that was great. The ending with, I feel so bad for Lena at the end, and it just shows, like, I forget, I was reading an article somewhere, and it was talking about, like, how Lena, through Ducktales, deals with emotional trauma so well. Like, the ending, how Magica manipulates Lena into believing things, and, like, manipulating her into saying things that she doesn't really want to say. And that was just amazing. This was my favorite yeah, this was my favorite episode so far. It's obviously going under absolutely amazing. Where is it? Oh yeah, and if you haven't seen my first episode, you should probably go and see it, because it has some groovy ratings. And yeah, it was pretty groovy. And you'll see how all these episodes got in these places. But where is it? The sneaky snacky thing. Oh, this is the one I didn't make a card for. I knew I didn't make one with Lena. Well, I can't edit the video because of my new software, so I'll just make one with the same background as Friendship Hates Magic. So yeah, that should work. Time to fix this one. It turns out it's just another one of the many things I haven't found. But, copy. It's gonna copy correctly. And no, it didn't copy correctly again. Woo! to move it. Okay, now it's for sure gonna copy correctly. There we go. And let's change it to, what was it? The other bin of Scrooge McDuck. The other bin of Scrooge McDuck. Oh, the font size needs to be smaller. When Gorditas is one of the best fonts, you guys should comment below what your favorite font is. It doesn't have much to do with Ducktales, but fonts are groovy, especially Gorditas. Whenever in school I'm allowed to do whatever font I want, Gorditas is the go-to font for designs and stuff. So, what's the next episode? The other bin of Scrooge McDuck. Sky Pirates in the Sky. This episode, it seems more of like an episode that would be in the original series. Like, this doesn't really have any like plot significance, which really this episode didn't either, and it was amazing. But this one wasn't very good, trying to make it a musical. The villains weren't very good, and they weren't very villainous either, which didn't make it very good. I like Dewey's plot at the beginning, how he's just sort of lonely, and I like Huey's side plot, how people keep thinking he's Dewey because of the paint getting on his hat. And the ending was sort of good, how they used their advantages against each other, how they look the same, but the musical numbers weren't very good, and like the whole middle wasn't very swell. And the really good part though was the fact that it draws back to the poster in the first episode, like Dewey's going on the same adventure his mother did. And like he's with the same sword fighting against the same bad guy, which was pretty cool. But this episode wasn't the best. I'd say it's just gonna go inadequate. Where is it now? The adequate episode. Sky Pirates, Pirates in the Sky. There it is. Seeing the photo makes me want to rate it higher, though. But it doesn't seem like it could beat Who is Gizmo Duck? Ha. But I think it would beat McMystery at McDuck Manor. I don't know. Sky Pirates in the Sky. I'm just gonna put it here. The next episode. The Secrets of Castle McDuck. Okay. The Secrets of Castle McDuck. I can see how a lot of other fans would really like this episode. I wasn't too into the comics, well, mainly because of the fact that I couldn't afford comics and like I couldn't get a hold of them, but I've read a few which are pretty good, and I have like an old book of them, but I never really looked into the depths of Scrooge's family. I've watched a video on Scrooge's family tree, but didn't pay too much attention, but it was pretty cool to see Scrooge's parents. So that made the episode pretty good. The fact that you got to see his parents and everything. And it was cool how you got a backstory on how Scrooge earned his first dime. Or I think it was dime. Yeah, because of the Great Dime Chase. Yeah. Geez, I don't even know Scrooge's number one dime. But this one's pretty good. Webby's pretty good in this, how she's sort of freaking out. And I love her face at the beginning. And Dewey's talk with her. And the whole adventure in the middle is, like the middle to the end was pretty good. Like how Dewey's trying not to have Huey and Louie go on the adventure by stating like ridiculous reasons, like, oh, well, if I have my arms out and my legs out in a giant shape, then you can't fit in here with me. And then they're like, well, why don't we just walk behind you then? Or why don't you just stand like a normal duck? Like, it was so cool how the emotional thing was with Louie. Like, why would you keep a secret about our mom? That's not okay. Like, that was amazing, the speech, and I love their chase. And I love the fact that all of that was just a prank by Della Duck. It shows her character very well. And then I love the scream the roar with all their family as ghosts. That was really cool. And Donald and Launchpad's side plot, that was okay. It's not better than like the great episodes, but it's pretty good. I'd say it is under good. It's not amazing level, but not adequate. Where is the episode? Do 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 do. Raiders of the Doomsday Vault. Cornelius Coot. Dangerous Game Night. Oh yeah, here's their roar. Oh, I just highlighted the last crash of the Sun Chaser. Here it is. Ooh, there's only 2 episodes left. And I remember the last 2 episodes. The next episode, I'm pretty sure, is the last crash of the Sun Chaser. This was it was a good episode. How this was just an amazing episode, but man, I don't know what to say. I'm like just running out of words. Okay, well, I like how this whole episode basically takes place on one place, just inside the Sun Chaser. It's really cool how they can make such an interesting story with just such a small place. But man, this is so hard to explain. I like this episode, but I like the whole series sort of led up to this level. You get to learn more about the mom, and it shows how Huey and Louie and Webby they really want to know about the adventure, but they know it's not worthy sacrificing everything for it. And the talks on the walkie-talkies while Dewey's walking out. That's so emotional. There was a cool AMV I saw. I might put it in the end credits if I remember. But that was really cool. And I like how Miss Beakley in the middle, and Scrooge, they have that talk that, like, Scrooge is thinking Miss Beakley's talking about Della, but Miss Beakley's actually talking about the nephews. And I feel like Huey and Dewey and Louie and Webby, they sort of overreacted, and so did Miss Beakley. Though Scrooge does have some wrong in him of course this is going to have spoilers, but since the mom was on the moon, that was sort of Scrooge's fault. But in the end scene, that was amazing how it has like Scrooge is just narrating everything that happened to him in his point of view, and then the voiceover of the nephews, like, well, there are too many variables. Like, you could have been spending your money to save her, and they're thinking he's just being like a greedy Scrooge. But really, Scrooge is doing everything he can. He's sacrificing so much for his family. And the fact that his family doesn't really even notice. This episode obviously has to go under absolutely amazing. The last crash, the Sun Chaser. The last episode of the season is the Shadow War. This is what Lena's plot has been waiting for. Once again, I feel so bad for Lena. Like, she's not in control of any of this, and ultimately Magica ends up breaking into the castle just because of Scrooge's and his family's grudge. And Scrooge isn't handling it very well. Papa Swan's pizza was funny, but I feel like in real life, Scrooge wouldn't have acted like that bad, just laying on the floor with pizzas everywhere for a week. And I love how in the beginning, just Lena's fighting with Magica, like, no, you can't do this. You can't hurt Scrooge and his family. I love them. And I love, jeez, it was so cool how, it wasn't so cool, but the quote that Lena says to Scrooge, like, I'd give anything to have a family like yours. Was so emotional. And the whole hug that Dewey has back at the trailer and at the boat and I like how it took them quite a while to be willing to go back to the family. And that was really good. And I like how Lena sacrificed her life. The battle scene was pretty cool. And of course, this is the episode we've all been waiting for. So no matter what, it's pretty much going to be good. The season finales are always really good. And I like how they go throughout the town. Like they go into Lena's house and you get to see how Lena's been living, and I love the Gladstone's ghost just giving Gladstone $20. And the battle scene with the shadows is really cool. Oh, I remember the episode I thought Lena was based off of, and probably this episode was based off of as well. There's an episode in the original series called Shadow War, which is pretty cool. You should check it out if you have Disney Plus or if you have the Ducktales season. But yeah, the whole battle scene with the triplets fighting their own shadows, that's really cool and innovative. I wouldn't say it's better than most of the episodes on top, but I'd say it'll make it to the top. Just barely. Okay, the Shadow War. I was surprised how long the last video was. I didn't realize when I was filming it was almost 50 minutes long. I thought it was going to be long, like maybe 30, but 50 minutes. I was like, wow. Okay, so let's show the ratings of the episode. So, under adequate, we have The Great Dime Chase, Beware the Buddy System, Day of the Only Child, and Who is Gizmo Duck, and Sky Pirates, In the Sky. Under good, oh, I forgot, G was originally for groovy, but good's better. Day Trip of Doom, The Terror of the Terraformians, The Infernal Internship of Mark Beeks, The Living Mummies of Toth Ra, The Spear of Selene, McMystery at McDuck Manor, and that one's hard to read. The Secret Cat, the Secrets of Castle McDuck, and under amazing, we have Woo, Beagle Birthday Massacre, The House of Lucky Gander, The Missing Links of Moorshire, Jaws, or Jaw Money Sign, The Golden Lagoon of White Agony Plain, which I still didn't get to talk about, From the Confidential Case Files of Agent 22, and under absolutely amazing, the best episodes of the season were The Impossible Summit of Mount Everest, The Other Bin of Scrooge McDuck, The Last Crash of the Sun Chaser, and The Shadow War. And if you haven't seen this series yet, I'm surprised you'd still be watching at this point, but if you're still watching and you haven't seen the series, you have to see it. And it's good to start at the beginning of the series, because if you just start at an episode that I said is cool, like if you started at The Last Crash of the Sun Chaser, the series isn't going to be as good. Each episode leads up to how good the next episode is, and the plots all sort of intertwine. Oh, and I forgot to say, in the Shadow War, probably that might. I think that's my favorite part. How they bring back one treasure from each adventure, and they let it go inside into the water. Like we don't want anything to do with Scrooge anymore. That was really that was such a touching moment. Now on to Louis' season 2. The first episode is the most dangerous game night. So, the most dangerous game night. What do I have to say about the game night? It's a pretty good episode. Gyro's invention's pretty cool, and the fact that they don't do much, but I like that it shows how Louis feels about the adventures and what he's good at in them, and the fact that they're playing games all day, like pretty much I do all day, that's amazing. It makes it so much better since I play games. Oh, geez, the heater ticked. But yeah, that makes it really good, and I love Scroogeopoly and how Louis narrates the game and stuff at the end. That makes it pretty good. This episode shall go under groovy or good. The next episode I will rate with exactly 6 words. Better not be a great episode again. The Depths of Cousin Feathery. This is... Oh, I can't say that because then that would be part of my words. So I said 6 words. Great. Side adventure. Mitzi cool. Location. That isn't much to say about it, but I'd say this episode goes under amazing. And it's so hard to only use that many words because for the good episodes, it's like, well, I gotta explain it more. It's so good, but yeah. So, the depths of Cousin Feathery. The depths of Cousin Feathery, the richest duck in the world. There it is. Man, I wanted to explain about more stuff in the episode, but I'm like, well, I said it could only be that many words. Let me just talk about Little Donald. Yes, Little Donald and the Giant Shrimp. Next episode is the Ballad of Duke Baloney. Well, that episode, it has a good Glomgold backstory. The episode wasn't clear enough to show if that was really Glomgold's backstory, though. I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm still not exactly sure. But it was cool how it showed how Glomgold's actually sort of nice. Now it shows how Glomgold intertwines with Scrooge's backstory in the other country and how he got his grudge for Scrooge. And I like that we actually get to see Glomgold happy and he tries to save Dewey and Webby. And the emotional, like, I like the mentality, or however you would put it. Probably a fancy word. Like the mentality of Glomgold in this episode. But yeah, this episode's pretty good. It's like on the verge of groovy and amazing. I'd say it only makes it to groovy though, because the backstory's really not clear enough. Like if it's really real, or if it's just like happening in his mind. Ballad of Duke Baloney. Okay. I shall rate the next episode with exactly 13 words. Next episode is The Town Where Everyone Was Nice. Well, okay, I want to explain more why I hate this episode so much, but don't need caballeros, terrible villain, weird Scrooge, side plot bad. I have 2 more words. Man, Bad ending. This episode I knew from the beginning was going to go under not very good. This is by far not better than any other series works. Let's put this one under not very good. Where is it? Oh, that's a split sort of. Swanstantine, the town where everyone was nice. Undo. Okay, let's see what the next episode is. The next episode is Storkules and Duckburg. This is probably one of the episodes I've seen sort of the least. This is one of the first episodes I remember seeing, though, because I remember having it paused on screen with just Storkules in like his baby outfit and them doing the commercial, and it looks so funny. But it's not the best episode. Storkules doesn't make for the best character either, because I like how he really likes Donald. Like, they'd be an okay ship, but Daisy and Donald is a little bit better. But this episode, like Louie, I like Louie Inc. and everything Louie Inc. stands for, but the Harpy plot, like, it really isn't very good. The ending, that's the best part, though. Like, how Louie helps Scrooge, and that they end up believing what Webby said all along. That you need to help the Harpies. And Webby's plot is pretty good in the episode, but it's still not very good. Hey, I put this under not very good, because this episode goes under adequate. It's not world's best, not world's worst. Like average studio level. Okay, the next episode. The day before the last day. No, the next episode is last Christmas. This episode left me astonished. This was like amazing. It has some of the best things possibly in it. There's time travel, which I love time travel movies. It's Ducktales. It's like, of course it's going to be good. It's Ducktales. And it has references back to all the old things that I've watched. Like every year I love watching the what is it? I think it's called The Christmas Carol. Mickey's A Christmas Carol. I love seeing Scrooge in that. I like how they did that. I like the fact that they reference the fact that there's a paradox. It led up to how Della was introduced, and I like how Dewey got to see Della without like actually seeing Della. Like he went in the past, and then it had the voice of the original Webby, Huey, Dewey, and Louie. Rusty Taylor, and I feel bad, but Rusty Taylor, the Rusty Taylor sadly isn't with us anymore, but the new voice for the new episode isn't very bad. But this episode was amazing. I love how Donald reacts at the beginning to Dewey looking at the picture of Della, and how they don't try to make this episode too funny. They sort of stick to the seriousness, and I love the fight scene with Scrooge and the cricket, and them going back to when nothing was there. And I like how Scrooge learns his lesson. It's like he sort of knows it's a lesson, like, not like the typical, like, oh, the meaning of Christmas, like every Christmas movie. But this was really great, and I love how it came back as a Wendigo later on. And it makes sense how Scrooge would stop and help the Wendigo the same time as Dewey. And their fight scene, and I love how Donald learns to be a good family member with Della. And this was great. This was just pure amazement. Like the credits too were amazing. How they hand drew everything, and it was just so cool. The hug at the end, how Donald got he was still wearing the same jacket as when he was a kid that Della gave him, and Della's still wearing the same scarf. And that I didn't notice at the beginning. I think I read it in a comment and I was like, wow. And then I drew a screenshot of them opening the presents, and that at the time that had to be my favorite piece of artwork I've ever done. And still, it's one of my favorites. This episode obviously goes under absolutely amazing. I was gonna well I was gonna minimize the amount of words I use for the next episode, but this one's too good to do that with. Whatever happened to Deladak? This one's basically like a lot of the episodes. It's what we've been waiting for the whole series. This is probably the first episode I actually started tuning in on Ducktales for, because I remember for like a week and a half I was watching everywhere for like, and I saw the ads for this. I was like, whoa, the mom's alive, and they actually have a mom. I gotta see this episode. It was amazing. I loved the color scheme in the commercials. I was like, I'm watching this. And I saw it a few days later on the TV in my room, and I was like, I gotta watch this episode. And yeah, it was great. I love how entertaining they could make an episode with basically only one character in it. It was so great, and it shows like a montage of her living on the moon and the black licorice. I love black licorice. That would be amazing, black licorice gum. And the beginning, how it ties into Scrooge, and the fact that she didn't know she had a gold tooth for that long. That was a little bit pushing it, but I loved how angry she got. And I liked the fact that she was never willing to give up on her children. She was fighting all this just to be with them. Well, and the fact that she wanted to be back on Earth. That was probably one of the factors they didn't mention. And the ending was. At first, I was sort of confused they never. How Della never noticed that there's another place, but then it made sense how, like, you had to do a certain thing on a rock to find the place. And oh, I love the moon theme reprises. I never played the original on the NES, but on our Wii we had the Ducktales. I don't know the name, but it was just the remastered version where it was less pixely, and that brought back quite a bit of nostalgia. And I love Della's Moon Lullaby and the lights behind her. That one was in my top 10 Disney songs as one of the runner-ups. This episode, it wasn't pure amazement like the other episodes, but it was what got me into the series, and it was pretty good. It goes under amazing. Where is the episode that I am rating today? A doodly doo. Nothing can stop Zella Duck. Oh no, this is the depths of Cousin Feathery. No, this one's going under absolutely amazing. I have to rate it there. It's way better than the Ballad of Cousin Feathery. Okay, let's go to the next episode. The next episode I shall rate before I see it with 13 words. Hey, that one's highlighted with a different color. That's weird. But yeah, I shall rate it with 13 words actually. The Treasure of the Found Lamp. Okay, I'm not doing 13 words. I have quite a bit to explain with this one that I really wanted to explain. It's not the best episode, but I like how it ties back to the Treasure of the Lost Lamp, the movie, because the movie wasn't very good, but I like the fact that they have the lamp back. And it's cool how they go to Celine's place, and I love all the fake missions they're going on. And I love gravy boats. Gravy boats are just so funny. I like the fact that they were just using it as a gravy boat. And I love the joke they use, the riddle they use. I use it all the time. Like, what's greater than the gods? The rich have it, the poor. The rich need it, the poor have it, and if you eat it, you die. Which I'll give you a few seconds to think of the answer if you haven't seen this episode or don't remember. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The answer is nothing. Nothing is greater than the gods. If you eat nothing, you die. The poor have nothing, and the rich need nothing. So, because of the joke and the fact that it goes back to Celine's castle, which is cool, this episode, it's like between groovy and amazing. It's gonna have to go amazing, though. Treasure of the Found Lamp. Oh, and I love at the ending how the lamp had nothing magical or anything, just he wanted it for the remembrance of his family. That was really cool and it shows the whole backstory, which makes the lamp even more special. Okay, this episode I'm using 13 words for sure. The Outlaw Scrooge McDuck. Rocker Duck, bad villain. Scroldy, cool. Goldie, be psycho, but cool. Remove cool, replace with loving. I have 3 more words. Good backstory. Comics. This episode, man, a lot of these, they're just on the verge of being groovy and amazing. It's like, what do you rate them? This is better than the most dangerous game night, but by how much? I think I just need to re-see this one. It's better than good. Okay, I'm gonna probably do 3 more episodes, I'll say. How many episodes are left? Oh, there's quite a bit left. I think I'll do 2 more episodes for sure. The 87-cent solution. This is the episode where you can screenshot the ducks wearing masks to tell other people to wear masks. No, but this one has quite a bit of flashbacks to the original series. It has the man, what is it? It's like the time teaser that references back to the original episode where they like pause it to do all their chores, which is cool. I love how Glomgold doesn't even know what it is. And he just accidentally pauses time for like a year. Or he doesn't pause it, just time's moving so slow that basically nothing happens. This episode was amazing. The fact that they did it and how Glomgold ended up only stealing 87 cents. And Glomgold's just doing like the craziest things that obviously his family isn't going to believe in. Like the fact that he's just dancing in Scrooge's clothes to stretch them out. And then everyone's like, why would a Scottish person, even do that? Or any person. And I like the fact that they're wearing masks and how slowly the ducks are sort of believing that Scrooge is crazy, which honestly, Scrooge was sort of a little crazy either way in this episode. And I like how much it took Webby, because Webby believed in Scrooge so much, and she thought Scrooge could do nothing wrong, but I like that ultimately Webby realized it, and I feel so bad for Donald at the end, how they don't even tell him about Scrooge's fake funeral. Donald just thinks Scrooge died. He's so sad. And then when he finds out Scrooge didn't really die, that's so funny. I feel so bad for Donald, but this episode was pretty good, and it had Allison in it. This one's gonna go under amazing without any questions. Where is the 87-cent solution? Final episode of the rating. The Golden Spear. I think Della went back on this episode. Yeah. The Golden Spear is the second episode of Della on the Moon. So sort of, this was what I was waiting for, because after the first episode, I was like, into the series, and I'm like, I gotta see the next episode with Della. I gotta see her. And it ultimately was pretty good. Della was getting her shit fixed, and I like all the sort of puns that Della says to Penumbra, like the... Oh man, I can't remember any of them exactly, but like, this is just like the classic story of... Man, I just can't remember them, but I like their jokes together, and I like how sort of Penumbra evolves to at least partially like Della throughout the episode. Like, first she just wants to absolutely crush Della into a million pieces, and then by the end she sort of understands Della, and she doesn't want the best for Della, but she's okay with Della, which leads up to an episode later on. And I like how it develops Lunaris as a villain, which was... Lunaris is a pretty good villain. Like, you don't really even know. He's so calming of a villain, but once you know he's a villain, it made so much sense. And I like the fact, I looked that up before, I think. Penumbra, oh no, it's in my science book. I didn't know Penumbra. It's like, I'm gonna look it up. It was like, yeah, it'll make sense once I look it up. Penumbra definition. Penumbra, it's like the partial illumination between the perfect shadow on all sides and the full light, a shaded region surrounding the dark central portion. Like, she's sort of the shaded region. Like, Lunaris is the villain. Like, he's the center of everything, and Penumbra, she's sort of the outside shadow of light around it. Like, well, I'm sort of tied to you, but I'm gonna, like, it sort of shows just by her name that she's the villain. She was a villain, but she's sort of good as well. This episode, it goes under amazing as well. Wait, whatever happened to Delita? Oh, I put the wrong one over here. People probably noticed that, or a few of the viewers. But here's this one, and let's put the other one where it goes. Oh, I made two Nothing Can Stop Dilladucks. Whoops. But let's find it. Oh, that's why when I was counting them, there seemed to be enough for the episode earlier. Where is this one, though? The Golden Spear. Well, I'll have to fix it later, I think, but for now, I'll just put this one in place of the Golden Spear. Oh, and I like Donald's side plot of him getting tortured on by like his whole family, and I love it was amazing, the animation for that sequence, like the really quick sequence of everything that was going on to Donald, and the fact that Huey was watching a VHS, but this was pretty great. So here's the end of DuckTales 2017 rating part 2. This is probably part 2 of 3. There might be 4, and eventually if there's 4, they might be 5, because I'll need to do another one once the rest of season 3 comes out. But I'm not sure when the next episode will be out. I'll probably have it out in a few days, and you should like and subscribe if you like this video, and I'm going to have the AMV probably in the corner and a list of some of the groovy AMVs I like, and I hope you like it. So let's stop the